Hey everybody, welcome. My name is Nancy Burwood. I am the founder and masterclass teacher at First Take. And today I am so excited to get to interview an amazing actor and wonderful part of our First Take acting family, Cameron Britton, who was an incredible actor with wonderful credits before he came to our school 2 years ago. Next week, we're celebrating 2 years. And it's been an incredible experience. Cameron, before he came to us, was known a lot for Ed Kemper on Mindhunter, that he was nominated for an Emmy. So that's quite a bit of success. And also the wonderful role of Hazel on Umbrella Academy, which I know so many of you are huge fans. But in the last year, he's booked actually 5 different things. Two of them he had to actually pass on because he had so many offers, and one of them we can't share about quite yet. But one of the projects that he booked this year is Spider Noir with Nicolas Cage, and also he's currently filming Wild Things with Jude Law and Andrew Garfield, and so those two we can talk about a little bit. So Cameron, I just want to say first, it's been an unbelievable joy and privilege to know you these 2 years. You're an amazing human being. You are smart and talented and fun and exciting. And it's just been, I feel so honored and privileged that I've gotten to be with you on this journey these 2 years.
Thank you. I've never been interviewed by someone I'm close to. Incredible. It's incredible we're doing this after 2 years it's like for us, it's just built up to this thing to get to do this. It's sort of neat.
Yeah.
It's been really wild. I kind of think of my career as before and after First Take. So this is pretty special.
It sure is for me that we get to talk about the things that we, have in this journey and your journey before this, because that was pretty exciting too. Can you share a little bit about your First Take journey? We'll just start with since we got to know one another, and yeah.
So it was at a point for me that because of COVID and the strike, work was either non-existent or you had an occasional audition. I was living up in an area above San Francisco that's basically cow pastures and farming. So there with my son, just kind of ended up being a dad, doing dishes and taking my kid to school. And I felt no connection to art at all. And I felt like, well, this is my job, so suddenly all my tapes are self-tapes, and they're all by myself. There's no actors in the community, and something wasn't working. And when I auditioned, I didn't even get callbacks, and I realized, even just to pay the bills, I'm either going to need to get a day job or I'm going to have to teach acting. I used to teach and I missed it. So I started calling around local Bay Area schools and seeing who would take me on as a teacher. And I did a Zoom with Nancy. And somehow an hour later, I ended up joining her class instead of being the teacher of any of the classes. So that was an interesting thing for me. It wasn't like that conversation with you was like, oh, this is what I needed. It was more like, I don't know what else. I might as well go back to school. I've heard masters of many professions. Some of my favorite athletes or celebrities stick with acting schools and coaches or whatever training they have. So I figured I'd try it, and having feedback, just that alone, I was seeing what not to do, and of course we record these rehearsals or scenes, so I got to see actually what I was doing that wasn't working, and that's the problem. Speaking of athletes, they shoot a shot. If they think it's going in and it's an air ball, that's when you've got a problem, right? When you're just like, yeah, I nailed that. So I was doing that in these scenes, like, that's where it's at. And then I had a friend in class for a bit who's known my work, and you two just just gently but candidly saying that none of what you think's playing. Your face is just sort of stony and you know. I
Oh,
believe wooden could have been the word you used. You didn't, but wood's organic, so maybe we shouldn't say wooden. Anyway, yeah. So that's how it started.
yeah. Well, I have to say it was. I just have mad respect for you, and it's a difficult situation to even put yourself in a way. It's a vulnerable place
Mm,
for you to go into a class situation with other people, and to be able to just receive that. You were just so open, that your humility in it,
mm,
because you care about the craft so much, and it matters to you that your work is the best it can be, and that you're bringing your all to it. So
yeah,
um,
yeah. And I don't know if you can really do that without a community who's also doing it too.
yeah,
I just don't know how to do art by myself. I don't, it's not
yeah.
why I got into it. That's for
It's
sure.
not the greatest to do it that
No,
way. It
no.
helps to have the support in the community. Um, it makes such a big difference that you're in it
Yeah,
together with people, and the humility together,
yeah, yeah,
I think,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You had talked a little bit too about, if we can just talk about the community, since you brought it up, because it was in contrast to what you had experienced in acting communities before, where
Mm,
there was more envy or competitiveness,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so can you talk
yeah,
about just the differences, or how that's,
yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, again, I first met you. You said we try to build a atmosphere of inclusion and support and no judgment. Everybody says that, and every place I've ever entered of any kind. But this was different,
yeah,
and it over the years you see that support and consistency and that community involved, and yeah, this acting classes I've taken in LA, you're just going to get a handful of folks that there's certainly a lack of collaboration or connection, and I just yet to see any first taker. Like it's about the work when we're in
yeah,
class, and um, it doesn't matter where anyone's at in their career. We all need to come with the same level
yeah,
of respect and support, and that when you mention humbling, I think that's making sure people come correct, that we don't turn art into status at
yes,
all.
yeah,
That's a weird.
it is,
I
yeah,
think even if you have a career, if you start treating yourself like you're some kind of special thing because you
yeah,
have one, you might end up losing one. If you think like, I'm
yes,
going to keep acting to keep this cool ride going where I'm the best, you're probably going to lose that ride,
it's good.
I think.
I love that. It's really good. I think, yeah, for me, it's a passion of mine about keeping an environment of that humility,
Mm.
because I don't think you can do your best work or be really creative or free, without it. And it's a quality that people don't talk about as being really valuable. And I love that in you.
Mm.
And especially just walking into a group of people that knew each other already, and you're kind of,
Yeah,
like, you don't know these people. So that's an awkward situation to
yeah,
be in, you know what I
yeah,
mean? And to flounder,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
because it's a part of it. You
yeah,
can't get to greatness without that.
yeah,
One of our first take sayings, as you know, is embrace the sucking, to
yeah,
treat it like a gift when you're failing,
yeah,
because it's what you can learn
yeah,
from it, and
yeah.
greatness comes from.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I keep calling it a safe place to do dangerous
I love
things. I didn't coin that, but it's exactly what's happening in those classes. That's once a week to just and sometimes this is it sounds like we're kind of getting into this anyway, but where my career was at before and after first take
that.
can really be seen in what I do with a page of dialogue that I haven't prepped, and that became my goal in First Take was to put this up and just read it and have a general idea of the scene and make sure I'm not going to stumble into any dialogue that should have been delivered in a different way or something, like to know the beats, but to just bring myself
Yeah.
and get out of myself's way, all that. And that eventually bled into auditions. I think we should all try to be off book for all of our auditions, but recently I've been too busy and I've booked even in callbacks without knowing the lines. Like I'm just reading them. It looks like I'm looking at the person, but I'm reading the script. Um, and that's all because of just doing this so much and getting to this. It's almost like if you take the element of memorization away,
Mm.
and you, you're looking at a most basic form of how to approach this mentally, because you're just reading it and being it and going it and surprising yourself. So so that once a week to be able to be that there's a boldness to just,
Yeah.
and we're recording this and there's people watching, to just go, I don't know, I have to play this sad alcoholic right now. I don't know my lines. Okay, let's do this. And that's sort of, my life was theater and prep and rehearsals and blocking and things. And I get into the film world and that's all gone.
Yeah.
And then it's just taken me years to know that my job is to just show up and set and discover it with everybody and find out. You just do it then and organically. And First Take gets me there. It's a tool. It's a process that helps you walk onto sets far more open to whatever comes. There's less pre-planned stuff, less expectation.
Yeah. Controlling the outcome, or,
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of, we talk like playing a result instead of being in the circumstance
Yeah.
and letting it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Feel you. Cool. The, yeah. And even the one thing too that, I remember you were talking about is that in other, um, acting cultures, sometimes the people would get angry if you were successful instead of, like it would, instead of cheering you on. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, some jealousy or some
yeah.
folks in your class, like, I won't watch you in that. It just makes me too angry that it's not me.
Oh, it's
kind
so
of thing.
sad. Just so sad.
Yeah.
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 But I know everybody, has been excited for everything that's happened for
Yeah.
you this
I
year.
gotta say, I'm just lucky, but I've had a handful of years now, doing this, and I haven't met any assholes on set, really. I mean, people come with their stuff, but everybody there is just humble and grateful and supportive of
Good.
one another. It kind of seems like that's the best place to be for yourself,
Yeah.
but it also can lead to great stuff for your career. And I think the competitive, jealous stuff
Yeah.
probably doesn't feel good for one,
No, yeah.
but some folks, maybe they think that's how they get somewhere doing this.
It's
I haven't
absurd.
seen it.
Yeah.
I just haven't seen it myself.
Yeah. Um, yeah, because it's kind of, because one of our other things is that you are enough. Like, everybody's one of a kind. And so when
Yeah.
you bring your gifts and your uniqueness, there's nobody else that can like take your place in that,
Yeah.
and so somebody's not stealing a job from you.
Right.
Like, if they're
Right.
successful, it's,
Right. Right.
the opportunity for them, and you're going to have different ones.
Right.
And it's an uneven playing field,
Right.
but you
Right.
got to just work with what you got.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not like a saint. Like, I'm a part of a very small niche casting world of
Yeah.
overweight, tall, gentle men.
Yeah.
There's not many of them. So they call Jesse Plemons, and if he says no, they call Paul Walter Hauser, and if he says no, they call me. I've had that call multiple times, and I've even been on sets I booked them. Like, did you offer this to Plemons or Paul?
Oh.
They go, oh, we thought about it, They said, we feel you were the guy. But I've also met actors who've come up to me, same build and everything, guys I love who are like, I'm competing with you or everything we do. I didn't even realize we were in it. So it's not always easy
Yeah.
to go, oh, well, I wanted that one and they got it, but I don't take it as there's some defect in me or
Yeah.
that we're gonna get told no so much more than yes.
Yeah.
That's just part of this.
Yeah.
You just keep doing what you do because you like doing it.
Yeah. And the joy of it. I think that just to delight in the craft, it's
Yeah.
just a wonderful art that, we get to do that, explores humanity and there's a joy,
Yeah.
in just the work itself,
Yeah.
kind of a thing. So,
Yeah. That's the whole goal. It's joyful. At
yeah,
least I can't
you have a
create.
lot of joy in it. I love that.
I tried to do.
I delight in watching the fun that you've been having.
So I booked Mindhunter and I did it and I thought I was going to get fired the whole time and then I wasn't, and then I like did what our egos do. Once you've had a successful thing, you reverse engineer why you were successful or something, like, oh, it was because I was fearless. Like, no, you weren't. Like, you like, just be honest with how it happened. And I just thought after Mindhunter, everything I had done to prepare for that had been right. So why wouldn't I have just continued to prepare like that? I
Yeah.
didn't do that. I suddenly had success and I freaked out and was like, well, now I have to go even harder. And I was thinking about, I've never worked with Joaquin Phoenix or Christian Bale or Marlon Brando, but there's this image in your head that they're the most intense, serious person at all times on set, and they're full of pain, and they're so. I was doing, and you'll see young actors do this. What they think they're supposed to be doing is this damaged artist, and I
Yeah.
never in my entire life approached. I've only come from joy, and for there's a few years that I was unnecessarily just so full of pain and anxieties and doubts because not only was my body trying to say, you're approaching this wrong,
Yeah.
but I'm asking it to be full of these things. And because art's supposed to suck, it's supposed to hurt, it's supposed to. My work was suffering for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least for me, I'm coming from joy every time. Or
It's great. It's
not
great.
working.
But that happens to a lot of people in terms of success and just relating differently than how you got to that place to begin with. So I think and what you were saying about different people, not getting the job or you not getting the job is all you can do is bring the absolute best work of what you have to bring and eventually that you're going to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just if you keep doing that and focusing on
Yeah.
that, I think that the controlling, this kind of thing, like shuts you down creatively, emotionally,
Yeah.
the fear or the desperation for,
Yeah.
booking or making money, like that kind of thing can
Yeah.
really shut you down from.
Yeah. And I'm glad I've gone through all those experiences. I mean, I think if we're not experiencing, we're probably not moving forward and improving as actors in
Yeah.
our lives. But like, I'm glad. Like, I'm more grateful now for what I have than I was, you know, doing the red carpets and everything. Not that I wasn't amazed and grateful, but like, the more I've had lulls in my career and wondered if I have to leave this industry or anything like that. Well, I got a kid to feed and stuff, and there's
Yeah.
just no work from that I could find. And anyway, I, I I've just heard so many interviews with some of my favorite actors, and it never seems to leave them that they think each project will be the last one they ever do. That John Hollywood's gonna knock on their door and say, hey, we're done. You're out of here. No more movies for you or whatever. It just never goes away. I think that adds to the level of just joy to be here. Hey, we got this one. We're doing this one, aren't
Yeah,
we?
that's good.
I
That's
get to do
good.
one. And
Yeah.
so yeah, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about this year because my goodness. So you got Spider Noir
Hmm.
but at the same time you got offered something else. And so two of the projects that you booked, you got two offers at the same time. So
Yes.
that's like wow.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. That was the fall of 24. And ever since it's sort of been working. But yeah, it was two at once. I had been doing First Take every week and getting, I heard Don Cheadle once say, it acting is not like riding a bike. You have creating is a use it or lose it thing.
yeah,
And so I'm getting the reps with
I
you,
love that.
and I did this maybe four performances on stage, which fills me in this
Yeah.
way. So I was just really in the zone, and these two auditions came in back to back days, and I booked them both uh, a couple weeks later, and I had to choose between them because we couldn't make the dates work, and I chose Spider Man. I chose it because I like Spider Man, sure, but I chose it because Nicolas Cage is playing Spider Man, and
Yeah.
it's Irreplaceable who were the top of your viewing when you were a teenager. It's Irreplaceable. I, every day I was either watching one of his or another of his.
Wow.
And the older I got, as a teenager, the more I started watching his other works, Leaving Las Vegas or something. But then Adaptation came out when I was in early high school. And so you're seeing this action star who's also getting nominated for Academy Awards. And he starts kind of turning into this ultra being to me, and so then you meet him, he's just a guy, uh, but we were there. It was day one of shooting, so we were both in the first scene of the show, and I said, "Are you nervous?" He said, "Always." Well, day one, I better be. I'm not doing my job right now. Well, that's cool. He was in he was incredible in it. Um, he was very quiet. He's raising a toddler. He's sleeping a lot, or not sleeping a lot. But if you start talking about film, there are certain people who get this weird buzz, like this. They just start getting this excitement for talking film. I always find someone on set who has it. It's usually a sound engineer or a key grip, and we just start. Who'd you work with? Oh, what was that like? Like the prop master of the show. He was on one battle after another. I'm like, but this in this case, it was an actor. It was Nicolas Cage, and in this case, it is an actor whose uncle's Francis Ford Coppola, and he's spent 5 decades in this industry, and his buzz is just. It buzzes like if you haven't seen Unbearable Lightness of Being, there's a montage sequence where he talks film and he's like a child. It's incredible, and that's what I got with him on set for hours. And he'd tell me to go watch something. I go watch it, come back, we talk about it, watch another one. Um, that was really really neat to see. I can't believe how childlike these actors who I've worked with who have been doing this since the 70s and 80s, who we've been watching since then, how excitable they are
Oh,
about this stuff.
so good.
It's pretty cool. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's as it should be,
yeah,
to just have the joy,
yeah,
the continued joy to get to,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's very earnest, and so that was really cool. I know we can't really talk too much about
the
what
story.
happens
Yeah.
in Spider Noir. Brendan Gleeson was also on that one.
Mm.
So the two actors I've sat in scenes with and seen, we talked about figuring out the scene work in a film once you get there. The two, Tom Hanks and Brendan Gleeson are the two I've seen who have an instinct of constructing a scene on the fly that I've never seen, and it's unbelievable to watch them during the rehearsal. They'll cut themselves off mid rehearsal and just say, "I think I'm over here now," and just they're not rude and they're not taking over the shoot from the director, but they're also not asking permission. They're just letting you know this is what this takes me. And suddenly they want to start the scene way over there, and the crew are rushing to clear all this crap out of the way because they didn't know they would be shooting that direction. And they're just, they'll throw someone a line. Maybe you should say this or something, and it's reminded me to not ask for permission
Mm.
because this isn't theater or anything. You're not stepping on toes for trying something. They'll let you know if they'd like you to stop,
Yeah.
but we're here to serve this director and their vision. And sometimes they don't know it until you show them it. And so you come with a bunch of options and you show them, And when they say, well, I like to go this direction, you say, great, that's my boss. And that's what they want. And I think that's an important mentality to have. Some of my favorite actors ever, their whole goal is to serve the director. That's what they're here to do. Frees things up a lot for
Yeah.
yourself to just have that. It's a very simple goal. What do you need from me? What's your vision? What do we got? It's kind of frustrating when the director doesn't have one, but
Yeah.
that happens. It's on them.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so watching Gleason do that, wow, that was cool.
Cool. Somebody had asked a question, because we have some questions that some of the students wrote, was asking about the period part of Spider Noir and the costume part. Can you share
Oh,
that part now or not?
you sure?
Okay.
I felt like doing high school theater again. The suspenders and the fedora. We all did those plays, those like
Yeah.
40s Arsenic and Old Lace, or I did You Can't Take It With You, and 42nd Street. Everybody's in a suit for some reason. So it was kind of fun. Felt like that. Doing a period piece like that. I mean, I have to drive an old Hudson that you have to stick an actual crank into the front of the grill to get it going, and there's no power steering, and driving that around, and it's very easy to get lost in it when everywhere you look you're in that
So
universe.
cool.
Yeah, it was neat. And I was lucky enough in school to be trained with a New York Italian accent. That's what I brought to the audition. I think they were sick of seeing Irish. I think the character, his name is Donegal, and they had seen a lot of people doing Irish, but I just felt like doing
Cool.
this New Yorker.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why they went with me.
Yeah.
You never know.
Then also right after that, the project that we can't bring up that you booked, but you got an offer for Being Human.
Oh, at the same
Ugh,
time.
at the same time, which broke my heart. That
Yeah.
it was exciting that you got two offers
Yeah.
at the same time for fabulous things, but
Yeah.
that
So Being Human is the same director and writer from Coda, Sean Heder.
yeah,
And the
swept
script,
the Oscars. I mean, this is going to be an amazing movie. Yeah,
yeah, when it comes out, yeah, it feels like I think it's the best script a film script I've ever read.
yeah,
It was incredible.
it was amazing.
So
Yeah.
touching and funny. But it's a true story about the handicapped folks in the 70s trying to get equal rights, which they did not have. The words
Yeah.
were separate but equal. It was real literal words the government was using. I would have just loved to shoot that,
Yeah.
but had to pick between two. I couldn't believe they needed me 5 days over 3 months, and we just couldn't make it work.
Yeah.
But that was another one I didn't know the lines. I just kind of read them with them and got a lot of notes. She was the most hands-on, about as hands-on as any audition director I've ever. I mean, she probably spent over an hour with me.
Wow.
It's not
Yeah.
the biggest role either.
Yeah.
That she just likes to see if you're a right fit for her,
Yeah.
kind of thing. That was cool. That was neat.
Yeah. And then you're currently shooting Wild Things,
Mm-hmm.
which is this playing David Neal, who was the USDA investigator for the tiger attack in Siegfried and Roy's show. Do you want to talk about the beginning from the audition and what it's been like so far shooting? And
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
you're so wonderful in it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. A lot of people don't remember Siegfried and Roy, but they remember the tiger attack. Oh yeah, because it was live on stage. So you'll sort of what I don't know how much I can give away, but we'll stick to what happened. What happened was the man I'm playing, David Neal, worked for the USDA, and he was asked to go to Vegas the day after the attacks, investigate it. He said he never packed a suitcase quicker. Did not
Wow.
know the USDA is the animal care
Yeah.
department.
Yeah.
Apparently, they didn't know they never asked for that assignment. It was thrust on them, and the budget's not good. So, not a lot gets done for care of these animals in the 90s and early aughts, Ringling Brothers and these things, kind of doing what they want and getting away with it. Even when they didn't get away with it, they get away with it anyway. They just have more money than the USDA. They can stretch any court case out as long as they need to, and USDA can't. So, a lot of settlements that were pennies on the dollar to them. So I'm playing a somewhat bitter man who's very determined to finally put a leash on these animal shows. What a pun. Whoops. But actually get rid of them. He'd like
Yeah.
them to be ended. So it was a one audition and a callback, and then a Zoom meeting with all the actors, and then a wonderful dinner with the showrunner and the actors. The showrunner, John Hoffman, he he opened with, "I just want this all to come from a place of joy."
Oh,
He's on the same boat. I don't know if I've seen a more relaxed boss. He's just on set, just like looking. He keeps ending up in these like side conversations with you that have nothing to do with what we're doing, and apologizing because people need him. He forgets, and he's just, but he's all about the work at the same time. And That's been really neat. What I've seen is the stuff I love to see. Jude Law's dropping in and out. That's what the
yeah.
first time I saw it was Claire Foy in this movie, and then I really saw it with Tom Hanks. Um, uh, this drop in and out thing, I can't say enough about it. Just
Yeah.
you're you, and then they say rolling, and maybe you're starting to be like ready. They say action, just let it go. You just here you are, and you haven't thought or prepped your moment, and then they say cut. You go back to whatever. Hanks would be telling a story about Saturday Night Live. They'd say action me start, and then they'd say cut, and he'd finish his story. It was really cool. So Jude Law's doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a German man. He's nothing like he is. So it's really neat to see. And Andrew Garfield, he's just in German, man. He's on and off takes. He's I can't do that. That takes a patience in your but like a stamina. I just don't even
Yeah.
know how to do that. It's pretty neat to watch though.
And everybody's having such a good time. It sounds like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
yeah.
We're all high fiving each other and stuff. That's maybe. I get worried when we're all too like this is going great,
It's gonna be
but it
great.
is.
The script is great. You're great in it. I can't wait. Yeah.
I like playing Southern men.
Yeah.
I don't know why John Wayne's Californian, like me and Kevin Costner and Clint Eastwood all are. I don't know why this Cali takes all the like. I play a lot of Southern guys actually. I'm not comparing
Yeah.
myself to the greatest cowboy performers of all time. I'm just saying that it's weird. It's a weird thing but I love doing it. I love playing these fellows. They have a different pace and a mentality that's nice for acting because they
Yeah.
think very simply and straightforward and say it how it is. It's nice.
Sweet. Well, we have some questions that some of the students wrote, so I thought we could ask you some of those, and then we're also gonna have some time because where you can share about Mindhunter and what you have lots to share about prepping for that. But
Okay. Let me
so
buckle
excited
in.
about that. Yes, buckle in.
Oh, should I mention meeting a tiger?
Oh yes,
Okay.
this week. Yes. Oh, and the
Before we move
videos.
on from wild things,
Yes, yes.
there is a scene where I meet a tiger. There's no barrier between us. I there is an actual actor they hired to play this tiger, and he's brilliant. I mean, I'm afraid to give up too much because we're in the middle of shooting, but um, I I felt some really great work was happening. I was feeling chills, and I'm just feeling this adrenaline and fear from meeting this animal, and it ended a thrill, um, and a majesty. All these things that I had hoped. It's the close up of the meeting a great CGI beast. Those are weird things to do as an actor.
Yeah.
Um, but we shot the scene. We're all happy with it. A month later, this was this week. We're on set. The animal wrangler was there and invited us. There's no tigers on our set, but she's a consultant that lets us know about their behavior. And she runs this zoo that's a very, very wonderful little zoo. It's not a real zoo. The animals are really enjoying their lives. And we got to feed the tigers and nurse them through a cage. Just, they like milk, so you hold a baby bottle and they drink out of it. I mean, it's wild. But what was crazy is I felt what I felt on the day. And usually you do your prep and then you do the scene and you hope to feel some of that prep. But it was the opposite. I did the scene and then I did the research, and it was cool to say I've never met a tiger before. But what I felt when I pretended to meet a tiger was what it
Yes.
felt like when I met a tiger after.
Yes.
That was really a unique realization, and there's a lesson in there.
I think so.
Somewhere.
I've been thinking about this since you shared this with me earlier. What I've seen you grow in your acting craft so much is that your ability to imagine things and make them real.
Mm,
You have been so much more reliant on that and exercising that muscle.
mm,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like it's a different way of working than the way that you had been
yeah,
working before,
yeah,
where you can drop in and have it come alive. So
yeah,
that's testament that you could pretend that you're talking to a tiger and it's a person, or not,
yeah,
and have the same reaction as an actual tiger
yeah,
experience. So
yeah,
that's exciting to
yeah,
me.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, me
And
too.
it's a whole different, like this really, I mean, in our process, that's like the foundation of it, right? Is
Right,
just making the circumstance really vivid,
right,
even though there's no tiger there.
right,
And you were able to do that and have it be all in your body and
right,
not like, how should I behave?
right,
You know,
right, right,
how do I think I should behave meeting a
right,
tiger?
right,
So,
right.
actually, and that's one of the questions, just in the way of working, and how that's changed, because this is a different kind of approach from your your early acting training.
Yeah.
Any um, that was one of our questions here. Just talking
The
about what the differences are.
between my early
Yeah,
and now,
yeah.
the pre-planning would be the biggest one.
Hmm.
Um,
How you used to work. Yeah.
yes, the when I realized I had a problem in pre-planning, of course I thought, why didn't they talk to me about it in school?
Mm.
But they didn't. Um, was on the set of Mindhunter.
Mm.
David took time during a lunch to just start talking to me about what a great actor needs to do. He said they need to be instinctual and fluid like a cat.
Mm.
And um, he loves the Beatles. He said, John Lennon quote, at least credited to him, life is what happens when you're busy making plans. And he kept hitting me with this over ADR a year later, because I think he knew we've got a
Mm.
green actor here who wants to come in with a plan, but he described a moment in Fight Club that he pulled an actor aside and showed them some playback where they had gone up on their line, couldn't remember it, and were kind of improving for a moment. And he said, "That's the most interesting thing you've done today, because you don't know what's happening
Yeah.
next, and I need you to try to get there,
Yeah.
because the best choice for this scene will not be something I came up with or you came up with, and this is where you can get humble and grateful.
Yeah.
It just came. It just happened. And with David, you're doing 150, you're doing 30 takes a setup. So these are 11-minute scenes and things. So at some point, you can't do
Yeah.
what you've prepped. Okay, I've given them all that. I got to try something new. So I started doing something new, take something new. And suddenly, I couldn't remember what I'd been doing. I was just doing, and I I then said, how can I do that without 150 takes? How can I start? What if you're working with Clint Eastwood? It only gives you two. And he's that actor say, we need to do another. I wasn't where. He said, hey, the camera was there. You were there. You got what you got.
Yeah.
And he moves on. He goes home. So, yeah, that was when I first started seeing these. It's a lot of first takes conversations, or getting out of talking like a director, or talking like an audience member, and using a mentality of breaking down the symbolism or metaphors inside of a scene, or just stuff nobody's thinking about in real life while they're alive in a moment,
Yeah.
just knowing what the character's feeling and wanting
Yeah.
is our job. And that was that once again is a thing that I had to slowly learn how to do, to be truly free doing
Yeah.
this. And the journey's just begun. I think
Yeah.
something you can say, oh, it's so easy, so simple at first take, but sometimes the simple stuff's the hardest stuff.
Yeah.
Like to truly just listen, or just be, or trust that what you're doing is interesting, or all that. You'll be doing that your whole life. And that's why it's a cool profession, because you see people actually get better at it. Because of that, we care less and less what we look like in front of the camera. The
Yeah.
more we do it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. We have somebody that asked, you've been acting before First Take, but since training with First Take, what was the aha moment that shifted everything for you in regards to approaching the work?
Through first take,
Yeah.
I think really that letting go. I mean, that true not knowing how I'm going to say this,
Yeah.
as you've, which scared the heck out of me. And in
Yeah.
first take, like, memorize your lines and do so monotonously. Do not have an
Yeah.
inflection. What? It's like, that's taking a minute.
Yeah.
And it's this leap thing.
Yeah.
This leap thing is nuts. I would say the other part of first take that's been an aha, it's happening right now in this interview, is any opinion I have on how I'm doing, I just ignore, like a troll on the internet or something. Like, just okay, well, you're the last person we need to check on how you're doing it at being in the moment.
Yeah.
There's just been so many times in your class that I've done something and felt like it was just slop, and then you're thumbing it up, and my scene partner is, and the comment section, and I go, okay, well, see, this is further into what I've started to believe is
Yeah.
I if a director asks me how was that for you, I say, I don't know, I wasn't watching.
Yeah.
That's it. And again, there's a simplicity to that, but that takes
Yes.
work, and
Yeah.
it takes a while to get there. But how you think you just did, it's great. Tom Hanks is talking about. He's like, sometimes you finish a scene and you go, that was really good acting. I did some great acting. just now. Then you watch it and you've seen someone acting.
Yes.
And
Yep.
that
Yep.
Spencer Tracy said acting's a great job unless you get caught doing it.
Yeah.
You just don't know what it is. You're not out there. So that has been super helpful in class.
Yeah. Cool. Cameron, I didn't mention it, but he was in A Man Called Otto and played.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
With Tom Hanks. So that's what the Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody had asked. I know you kind of mentioned a little bit of the history, but somebody asked, have you ever considered quitting acting and what pulled you back?
Um, the lack of meaningful work was certainly a part of it. And I was so focused on if I'm good at this, if I'm doing a good job. And I was also really focused on giving casting directors what they want. There's a great Bryan Cranston moment on an interview. He said, someone asked him, what advice do you have for young actors? He really took the time to think about it. He said, when I stopped trying to give them what they want in auditions and started showing them what I can do, it's just simply that. He says he's never worked more, because they may say, he's not right for this, but that was cool.
Yes.
And let's bring him back. I auditioned for that show Fallout 3 times this season. Didn't book it, but they keep bringing me back because they're what I like is because I was taking their what they had put on the page and just doing what I wanted.
Yeah.
Same with this David Neal character. He's a bit different than what they had planned. So sometimes you change their mind. Sometimes they see something. Cranston was not. They didn't even want him to audition for Breaking Bad. So he just insisted that he get to.
Yeah, and I think and that's also a fundamental part of First Take. The You're Enough is the fact that, and what we were talking about, if you do bring the best of you and what you are uniquely, your uniqueness, it's going to be special, because I hear it from casting directors, because we have casting director guests all the time for like 30 years now, that we've been doing this. And so every single casting director says that when actors come in and they do what they think they're supposed to do, or what, they think we're looking for, it has no specialness to it. It's very generic in that way of, let me do what you want. It takes out all of the part that makes it amazing, is your own being and your own humanity. And
we're not blank slates.
Yeah.
Your whole life gets to come with you.
Yeah.
I think a lot of our work is more about when we're not acting, like building a life inside of you, and a perspective of life that allows you to just be free and out of your own way.
Yeah, I think also as a school, we focus a lot on kind of being honest about our inward being. Do you know?
Yeah.
And so many people aren't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where we just like make up what we think and not. So some of what we're teaching is growing in awareness of our inner world and parts of who we are, and that maybe we didn't even notice before, but it's in there, so that we've got so much to draw upon for roles that have life experiences even very different from our own.
Yeah.
But if we, and then that's how you can have the freedom in working and bringing your whole being. Otherwise, it's just kind of bland, It's just kind of cookie cutter, and everybody's read looks the same. That's what happens is when people pick up a script and go, this sounds angry, or this sound, do you know what I mean? And play it that way. And then it just looks so blah, and everybody's reads the same. So, good advice. Good advice. What advice would you give newer actors?
Oh, there's so much advice to give. The one thing that does seem to be universal is that they're really like people looking for like the secret to success.
Yeah. Yes.
the secret is that there are no secrets.
Yeah.
Like, there's this book, Everything That I Needed to Learn, I Learned in the Second Grade. You ever heard of that book?
Mm-mm.
Um, like, everything you've heard advice-wise about a career, like, do that. That's all good advice, you know? How to handle yourself in set or in a industry evening, or how to be with casting directors, how to be on
Mm.
set, how to approach your roles, how to approach your craft, all these things. There's so much advice. I would be watching. There are not a lot of professions that get to watch the greats of that profession do that profession. I don't
Mm.
think a lot of architects get to watch architects
Mm.
architect. We can like just find the catalog from inside the actor's studio, and it's a whole world
Yeah.
unto itself. In this interview, you've heard me quote several actors because
Yeah.
that's what I like to
It's
do.
inspiring.
I
Yeah.
like to know what they're thinking and feeling and saying. You wouldn't believe the amount of insecure. You just wouldn't believe. Paul
Yeah.
Newman thought acting was hard.
Yeah.
Just, has there ever been anyone with more ease in front of a camera? But it
Yeah.
was work for him. And these kind of things, Dustin Hoffman thinking he'll be fired every day.
Yep. Yeah.
But their advice is, it's immeasurable.
Yeah.
So my advice is to learn from the greats in life and in art. So all these acting interviews, I very much recommend Inside the Actor Studio, as well as one called Actors on Actors that Variety did, where they interview each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I recommend reading philosophy books for your work on your life. I'm not the only actor doing that. Hugh Jackman, I think, reserves a half an hour a day to read philosophy, and that's easy to find. You can find any kind that speaks to you. I like these ones by a modern guy named Ryan Holiday. He's a Stoic, so I read all his.
Yeah.
Jay Shetty's also a modern guy. They're taking all these principles from eons of time, but those are two things. Man, if I had started this kind of stuff at 18, I would just have so much less anxiety,
Oh,
so much more context and things to be reading these things and
yeah.
watching these interviews. Yeah.
Cool. Do you ever get nervous before big auditions?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and do you ever feel imposter syndrome, and how do you handle it?
I do. Because we all do.
Yeah.
So I handle it by just letting it be. I don't have an attachment to it. It just floats through like a
Gotcha.
cloud. Hey, you know. Basically, it's saying, "Hey, why you?" And I say, well, "Why not me?" I don't know. And it keeps going because it's never going to go anywhere. It's never going to go away. Yeah.
You've played a serial killer, mindhunter, and a time traveling assassin, the Umbrella Academy, and now USDA investigator, Wild Things. What's your secret sauce for finding the humanity in such different characters?
If it can, if you can just ask yourself, where in here could I say something that
Yeah.
means something to me, something very personal?
Yeah.
There's a comedic element to Hazel from Umbrella Academy because he is a time traveling assassin who has work related depression. He's like, another job. Like, that's hilarious. But to talk about work related depression meant something to me, and to talk about a someone who had trouble sharing what they're feeling
Mm,
was meaningful to me.
yeah.
Um, Kemper was very personal to me.
Mm.
I didn't have to work at that one. I don't, I feel like I'm entering like I've always wanted to kill everybody. That's not what it is, but that's a whole bag of worms. I don't know why it's so personal.
Mm.
But it is.
You,
um,
yeah.
he didn't like his mom much. I like my mom, but there's stuff there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know why I feel so guarded
No, it's
talking
okay.
about why that
No.
was personal, but
I,
it.
every s- I mean,
I have a
again,
thing with
like,
serial killers. I have a like.
yeah.
I can feel it right now that we've started talking about it. It started in high school. I just start
Mm,
getting this like, it's adrenaline thing. I don't know what it is, and so now I'm playing one who's talking about them. That's all he's doing. So I didn't have to do anything but do it. Um, and uh, as far as David Neal making that personal, I don't think animal shows should continue.
yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and to be lucky enough to do characters you can that have something personal to say
Yeah.
is a big start. But even if it's a small part, to ask yourself how this can be personal to you
Exactly. Yeah.
can drive things and connect
Yeah.
things. I mean, plumbers don't have to say, before I tighten this pipe, who am I really? But we do.
Yeah.
And that's what I love and hate about my job.
Yeah.
I'm always pushed to grow.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Uh, Actually, with that, there was another question about what was your hardest role.
Oh, I did this show, talk about personal. It was called Manhunt. And I was playing a real life man named Richard Jewell who stopped a bomb from happening in an Olympic Park in Atlanta in 1996. And he risked his life, security guard, minimum wage, stood in front of the bomb to take the blast. And he got pinned for it by the media and the FBI. So he ended up sequestered into his home for 3 months with living with his mom while Jay Leno picked jokes at him, and they called him the Unibubba. And he didn't do this thing.
Wow.
And he was a very awkward man, and I felt like I was back in middle school.
Mm.
And I used to be um, like I wore apology and I couldn't take it off. I was a
Mm.
walking apology of a person. I would cry during hair and makeup, like,
Wow.
and they'd ask me what's wrong. I was like, I've just been doing this for months, and I'm just cried a lot. That was also the time when I thought I was supposed to be sad when we do this stuff. So that was a hard time in my life. But yeah, that there was scene work we had to do. One where I tell my mom, I just want you to be proud of me.
Mm. Oh man.
So that was fun. Um,
Mm.
I wasn't acting crying. I started sobbing and did a few more takes, but the sobbing one was the one. And then they said, we're done with the scene. I just started crying again.
Oh man.
The camera's not even here. Cameron, you can stop. I just couldn't. We didn't use the sobbing take, though. There was a executive who said that Southern men don't cry. So she used a different take.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
I'd love to see that footage, I suppose, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and again, it's interesting because I love these examples you're using all go back to that it's person, that theme of it being personal, and that's when it's special. So it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Which is our whole process. The whole first take process is how to do that. Um, Somebody says, wanted to ask about your timeline as far as starting acting to Mind Hunter. Because I think some of our people want to know, like, if I'm starting my acting training, how long does this take? People, yeah.
Well, I think there's a lot of ways to approach your career wrong and only a few to get to approach it correctly. I don't think hoping to make a career out of it at all should be the goal.
That's good.
But
Can you elaborate on that? Because it's good. And it's not,
just,
people don't say that much.
oh, just doing it because you love it.
Yes.
That's it. That's the only
Yes.
reason to do it.
Yep.
Um, it's that, it's kind of that simple because you stop caring whether or not you booked in the same way
Yep.
or how the work went in the same way or who you're talking to. Like, I think I did more work preparing to work with Tom Hanks than I did on the character itself because I didn't want to show up. I realized I was starting to show up on sets with those shiny celebrities, like, hey, I can't believe that's so funny. You said you parked your car in this parking lot? Oh my God, this guy. Oh my God, I was there with you in that car just now. Like, I was an asshole. And so with Hanks, they just, we end up sitting in silence for 10 minutes, and that's good. Like instead of me going, what should I start saying to him? Like,
Mm.
he's a guy, you know. But I started, it moved quickly. I moved back to LA. I had a year in Nashville to save money and get my head right. And then I started auditioning for my first. I moved to LA in 2004. I didn't audition until 2013. Um, in 2015, I booked something that was the last time I had a day job, but it was just a recurring co-star on a show called The Stitchers. And in 2016, I started filming Mindhunter. It was my first guest star. It was my first time with more than 5, 10 lines in front of a camera.
Mm.
Um, and when it came out in October, it came out Friday the 13th in October
Wow.
2017. Um, I think, it moved real quick after that. And that's when huge head case issues came. Suddenly I had a career, I didn't know what to do with it. It's freaking
Oh,
out.
yes. So somebody else asked, which is what was it like to find out that you were nominated for an Emmy for that?
I mean, exhilarating and
The
wild.
call, what was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was my manager and waiting for the release of the thing. It was just wild. Like I said, I was just hoping not to get fired, but there were people on set who were like, "You're working this." The cost, the hair and makeup, they were like, "Emmy, Emmy." Like they were like,
Oh,
I was like, okay. But it did
sweet.
did end up with one. The Emmys themselves, it's actually the day before the full Emmys, they have this like
Yeah. For the
slightly
guest star.
televised
Yeah.
Emmys for all
Yes.
the other
Yeah.
categories, and they throw guest star Emmy into it. But it's just sitting there clapping with a smile plastered on your face, and it is a long time. And the party's fun, but the actual thing. This is a great thing to show extras. Ricky Gervais is a montage. He's finally at the BAFTAs, and you watch him like slowly, like, oh my God, it's boy. But to be nominated was cool. Again, you kind of have to forget about that stuff. It's on
Yeah.
to the next job.
I love that you're sharing this because interestingly, in our history at First Take, the very first part, we were unique as a school because we had so much industry understanding, and that wasn't typically in acting schools, where we know about the business casting, all of those things that were not common for acting schools to understand. So that was kind of our calling card, at the beginning. And over the years, I realized talking about that so much, where actors' minds are to booking, and I was just like, I've seen it take people out when there have been slow times.
Mm.
Because we have other, of our students that have been series regulars and have dry spells and from working a lot and then this period. And where people in the not working, there's just been like where they've gotten angry, where the joy is gone
Mm.
from the craft. It's
Yeah.
not about I love this craft.
Yeah.
It's about well, where's the check? And this industry sucks.
Right,
And,
right,
this is a
right,
crappy industry,
right, right,
because the norm is that there's ebbs and flows in
right.
this. And so it just won't help our own being
Mm,
or help the creative process.
mm.
Um, so I love your relating in a way that that it's always the joy
Yeah,
of the art itself.
yeah.
I do think that's important. So it's been in more recent years that I've been talking that up more,
Mm,
that I just didn't realize, like, oh gosh, like, you know, uh, it's a big part of this
mm,
is, um, so I love that.
mm.
Um, let's see. Oh yeah. What was your ramen noodles and couch surfing phase like, and what kept you from giving up during those lean times? Yeah.
I I wasn't my ramen noodle phase. I wasn't actually. I was just doing theater with my friends. I lived in my car for a while in L.A. Sleep in it. I was a preschool teacher, so I'd sleep in the preschool's parking lot with their
Wow.
say so. And was 26. I'd grab a bottle of wine and a rotisserie chicken at the store and go sleep in the parking lot with them.
Jeez.
Um, just hanging out with my friends doing theater. It's a hot mess. Sleep at the theater. That was cool. And I don't know, like Mindhunter, we were still ramen noodling. It was on Crenshaw and Adams. You know, the top of the Crenshaw area. So we were cockroach department and all that. And Netflix was putting suits on me worth more than my rent.
Wow.
And then we go to these fancy parties and come back and to our cockroaches, and it was a culture shock. Like like heads
Jeez.
dancing, it was nuts. But I still kind of live that way, as you know. I live in a motorhome by choice, and
Yeah.
I have a couple pairs of shoes around here somewhere.
Yeah.
But I don't ever want to leave my ramen noodle phase.
Oh.
Yeah, but I see what you're asking about the lean times, work wise. Um, that can be hard, but there's always a place where you can be acting.
I love that.
For money,
Yep.
maybe not, but again, like, is there a way, if you're like, someone asks you, okay, 3-year plan, what's your dream? Oh, I'm a regular on a Netflix
Yeah.
show, and I've got a nice place, and I can invite friends over, and we can just enjoy each other's company, and I can be, just enjoy life and appreciate what I got. That sounds great. Well, why can't you do that
Yeah.
before that
Yep.
other thing
Yep.
comes? Is your
Yes.
happiness
I love that.
an external thing,
Yep.
or can it be internal? Can you find it without the I would, if I were unhappy and working, I would trade that for happy and not working.
Yeah.
And I was happy and not an actor. I was very happy. I was finally found happiness. I was a
Yeah.
preschool teacher and I loved my life. So I kind of entered this saying, okay, well, Mindhunter, what the hell happened? I guess I have a career. I'm not gonna work often. I'm not gonna care about the money. I'm gonna stick to
That's
that.
good.
And I failed sticking to it, and I got very miserable for a while. Here we are.
Man, that's mic drop. That's gold right there, what you just shared. No,
Okay.
do you know what I mean? It's just people need to hear that
Uh,
so much. Yeah.
wow.
This somebody asked, do you view rejection as personal, or have you learned to see it as business? And how do you make the shift, or how do you bounce back? I think. Yeah.
It had never occurred to me to think about that or ask about that in my life until I was asked about it by students. Never.
Mm,
Um, I don't have advice for dealing with rejection outside of, um, speaking of philosophy, Marcus Aurelius, we best know him from Gladiator, but he was one of the great Roman kings, emperors. He said, um, choose not to feel harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been.
yeah.
And I just I entered this industry like, oh, you audition 100 times and maybe you book one. Like this is a
Yeah,
numbers
that's
game.
good.
You're the asshole at the bar. It's like, hey, what do you do tonight? Like you just ask the next one. That's really all we're doing here. Um, Hopefully with our clothes on. But I am sober. I just don't. I didn't. I guess later it was a little. I mentioned Mr. Hauser, Mr. Plemons, and
Mm,
if they got it, there's a little more like now I have a face to who I'm, working against to get this thing. But I never felt like there's something wrong with me for not getting. I think that a director has a vision, and I don't think ideas are collaborative. I think an idea has to have started in one spot, and that's people can join in on it, but I think a director's heading away, and if you happen to be heading that same direction, then they'll work with you,
yeah,
and that's all it is you look at something and go, I want to go this way with it, and if you happen to be that going that same way, then we're good. But um that's it. But
that's great.
yeah.
That's good. What advice would you give your 18-year-old self as to do as you begin your career?
um well, the same kind of thing we're saying, like do it for you.
Yeah.
There was this film star of stars of stars. So this the silent film guy, Rudolph Valentino. You know that one? You heard of him?
Yeah.
And so when he died unexpectedly, I think 7 women committed suicide. They were so distraught by the loss of
Gee.
their celebrity. There's statues of him in L.A. Most people have never heard of him. So that would be my advice for 18 years old. Like, nobody cares, man. Do it for you. Even Tom Hanks, 100 years from now.
Yeah.
You just do this for you, man. Like,
Yeah.
no one cares. No one. You're not going to do something on a film that's going to be remembered like Marcus Aurelius or anything like that. You
Mm,
just do, just do it because you love it, you know?
that's cool.
It takes the pressure off, I think, a bit.
What role would you like to take on and why?
I want to play an autistic person,
Mm.
for sure. Or a cowboy. Also cowboys. I don't know. I always feel weird when people ask me that. I like Zen characters. I grew up liking Paul Newman and Harvey and Forrest Gump and as weird as this, I think the Mindhunter performance is a Zen-ish person. I like to play those. So any
Yeah.
more of those that come along, there's like a wise old bullfrog or something. I like those.
Cool. So, last but not least, let's talk about Mindhunter and your prep for that and what the hardest parts, exciting parts. Just share the fabulous experience that.
I will. So I self-taped. Um, I saw the title is called Mindhunter. I kind of just thought it was some like YouTube like show or something, and I, I pulled up the script, and the first thing is Holden, the detective, saying it's hard to square you with what you're in here for, and Kemper says something like, I was a regular guy most of my life, nice home, nice suburbs. But on the other side, I was living a depraved life of violence and death. There was something about it that I just immediately thought this must be a real person. And
Mm,
so I typed Ed Kemper in and went on this Wikipedia rabbit hole that I remember going to a restaurant with my friends. It's all we could talk about. He did what? Like it was just wild. But then I got a call back. It was another self tape, and I've never had that before. But um, it was so much dialogue that I would just tape it up behind the camera to have to read it. And then they gave me an 11-page scene. And that was so much dialogue. I just said, I'm not even going to try to memorize this. I just came, this was now in person. I did it for them, and then they said, we need you to come back and be off book. So then we did that. They said, we want you to come back. It was a little, we asked you to speed it up because that's a Fincher pace, but now he liked what you were doing where it was slower paced in your delivery. So we did it again. And then they said, okay, now we'd like to bring you 6 auditions over
Wow.
6 weeks, which the last one, I could not have been more nervous. I was told the actor will be there, and Fincher will be there.
Ooh.
And my best friend, as I was driving there, was like, "It's time. You're on the way." I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Where are you? Are you? Who's playing this other guy?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "What do you mean you don't know?" So it could be like Jake Gyllenhaal when you open the door. You don't know. I went, "Oh my God, who's the other actor?" Like, all I can think about, I'm in the lobby like pacing, and the room of the casting director, Lorraine Mayfield, was open, and there was a cork board of all the casting, and there was a thing that said Kemper, and there was my headshot just all by itself with it. And I realized this is a screen test. This is not, we're just rehearsing. Took a lot of pressure off, but I still opened that door and I meet Fincher. My first, oh my God. And my first thought is, oh, that's right, you're just a person. And we start chatting. And then I see who I'm working with, Jonathan Groff. Never seen him in my life, never heard of him. So I didn't watch Glee, and I didn't see Hamilton. I didn't know him from Frozen. I was so grateful it was just some kid, and he was the kind of the antithesis of what I'd think of an FBI agent. And that's the point. You watch him from the episode 1 through 10, and it's a different person at the end and all that. But so Fincher started coming to my costume fittings. This guy would come to a guest star's costume fittings, and he'd say, "You need to take those jeans home and wear them to sleep every night because a prisoner would only have 2 pairs at most, and they would form fit to them." And he would, his
Wow.
level of specificity. And we had rehearsals that were $90,000 an hour, and we had many of them. They'd fly me to Pittsburgh to rehearse and fly me back. They would just do it, and it was in the time, the golden era of television, when they just give you all the money. So they they got what they want. I mean, we actually had the air conditioner running during takes. It was a silent air conditioner. It's like just incredible, the cool details involved. But shot in a real prison. It's abandoned. And the level of specificity, it could not be more. It could not be more. I'll give you one example that's wild. David, there's a character played by Cotter Smith. He's the FBI director in season 1. Season 2, he comes back. There's a long break between 1 and 2, maybe almost 2 years.
Wow.
And on take 1, Fincher called cut and went up to Carter and said, "Did you dye your eyelashes?" And Carter's chortling, like, what? No, because your eyelashes they're a little lighter. And Cotter hadn't noticed, and his wife hadn't noticed, but he had been taking some medication that could be a side effect, and David noticed. That's David. So it's a genius, and it's wild to see doing the sound, the ADR, the sound dialogue replacement. Was at Skywalker Ranch, and those folks said, they showed me they're working on a scene. He's giving them notes for editing. There's these notes in the margins of the screen, and they said yesterday a woman came in and said, "Wow, that's a lot of notes for one episode." They said, "This is just for this scene." 10 hours of stuff, and it's like nothing you could imagine. And there was a lot of joy, a lot of playing, a lot of singing between takes. I know it's a heavy subject, but we had fun doing it. There were times I was really happy with what was happening, to the point I was in my hotel crying, like, "Oh my God, I can actually do this," calling my best friend, like, "I did it, I did it." And then there were other times I was, at the lunch break crying because I'm terrible at this and I hate what I'm doing. And Fincher, all these takes, it's like a nightmare because you feel like you're getting worse each time. So it was interesting, as far as all that goes. But I could not have been luckier to start with that level of specificity. It's become the standard. that I try to bring to all of the jobs I do, and look around and see who else is doing that as well. Like how, you know, this latest show I did, the director said, Cameron, I'm not moving on and if it's good. And
Mm.
it was the coolest thing to hear because it's
Wow.
really, when
Yeah.
David says we're moving on, you know, you got it. David does not tell
Wow.
you good job because we moved on. That was the compliment, you know. It That's a huge part of this, that trust thing. I've never trusted anyone more than David.
Mm.
Um, on a personal level, I was pretty shook when it came out. I didn't know what to do with a career. I had no one to guide me,
Mm.
and I emailed him, and he called me. He gave me 45 minutes of his time to just give me advice on how to navigate this whole thing.
Wow.
He's been very kind. He's very funny, and he's very warm. He's not what I would have assumed a lot of us. If there's on a tour, I'm sure he'll have a turtleneck and he'll stare at us and be intense. No, he wasn't that. And you know, he expects A+ work.
Mm.
It's maybe a little more stern with the crew, making
Mm.
sure they're where we need to be in time. But you were talking about cut, note that takes one sentence, rolling action, and we are back, and we do that again. We just don't stop. Those are my favorite kind of notes. You give me, say it quick and let's get back to it. Um, it was pretty wild to see. Pretty amazing structure. Um, yeah. Any questions you have? I'm just sort of shotgunning
No,
wanting
no,
the
no,
experience,
no.
but
It's I know that there was something that you were talking about, how they gave you space, like the series
oh,
regulars, and your
oh,
get right and the guest
well,
star, and they were just like so sensitive because your role is so hard to go to that place.
yeah,
Yeah.
I I did not like what I was doing that day. And they were setting up a new shot, so I knew I had a minute. And I forget it's David. You don't have as much time as you think. And I just walked, this big prison. So I just walked down the hall away from folks and I put my head against the wall. It was just like breathing, trying to find whatever. And I suddenly realized it was dead silent. And I look over and everyone is just in perfect silent, usually waiting till I'm ready. And I just silent, it was so creepy. It's just walking in this
Wow.
silence, and then got to my place and he said action and we went. No, we would rehearse for 45 minutes on set before
Mm.
he would even let the crew in to watch what we did.
Oh,
And then
wow.
they would set up while we go get hair and makeup done. That's like no structure I've ever seen.
Wow.
So we didn't there was only two times in all of shooting that he threw out a suggestion while the scene was running. Like there was no discovery then. It was kind of wild. Didn't need it, but one was, say this guy's trying to uncuff you. What if you start scratching your nose wildly so he has to chase it a bit because you don't care what it Sure. And then the other
Oh,
was he
wow.
wanted forgive me, but I talk about what it's like to have sex with somebody's neck. So um I he said you should go up to Jonathan Groff and grab his neck and start feeling in there and say, feel that? It's cartilaginous. I'd never heard the word cartilaginous before. I knew it was the root was cartilage, but it wasn't sticking, and it came 5 minutes into the scene. So we would be in character, and then I'd come up and say, "You feel that it was cardboard gelatinous." What? Sorry. And we would go back. This is the only other time that we had like a new thing to throw in. Cartilaginous. Creepy. So yeah, it was a unique style. Prepping Mindhunter was wild, because I was willing to do some pretty crazy imaginary work,
Yeah.
and I would get kind of lost in it and be in it. And my girlfriend would come home after work, and I'd be there playing video games, done working, and she'd come right in. She'd say, "Kemper's still here, isn't he?" Yeah, he
Wow.
is. I could feel it, and there were times we would like to get intimate. I just said, no, I
Oh,
gotta go,
yeah.
I gotta go. Oh my God, I'd go to the kitchen and like hold the counter. It's mostly joy, but it was 9 months, so there were
Yeah.
times it's like,
Jeez.
I need the ice cream and the Beatles right now. I just need to like, but I liked driving around neighborhoods and just cruising the scene.
Ooh.
Predator. I'd go to dog parks in character. I bought my car in character. I'd go to the grocery store because these people don't. There's something about playing evil people, especially serial killers, where we're suddenly doing the Hannibal Lecter thing. You smile, head down, eyes up, and it's just naturally creepy. But the thing is if the Hannibal Lecter performance is wonderful as it is, he himself has admitted it's theatrical. But if he to spike the camera, in real life would like, would you like to come over for dinner this evening? You wouldn't go. So serial killers are trying to do the opposite.
Yeah.
They're more like, hey, you want to come to dinner sometime? It'd be great, and they move on. So Kemper would do that, and so I had to feel like I could be thinking about horrific acts and wanting to do them at a grocery store while everyone's just chatting about my day. And the weird part is I kept running into weird Uber drivers or people at the dog park who want to talk about weird shit. And I just let it go that direction. People are like, yeah, I beat my dog. Oh, you gotta beat him. You gotta beat him hard. I'm Kemper right now. I'm like, oh yeah, you better hit, you know? It
Wow.
was suddenly these conversations, it was very strange. Um, Kept my fingernails very short because you don't want blood getting stuck under there for the. I watched a lot of his interviews and then I stopped watching them because you at some point you can't be doing what they did. You got to do what you bring.
Yeah.
I played a few people in real life, and that's all. Some more than us. Some with Kemper, I could go pretty far into connecting with what he brings, but some you just you know when to just make it your own and all that. But that one was you could learn a lot from those interviews. You could learn a lot.
Yeah.
At first, I was very compassionate towards him because he tears up at one point, and
Wow.
it's in the show as well. He's starting to talk about where his mother where he killed his mother, and he's giving you the beats by beats of what happened in that moment, and he basically says in this interview, and I lifted the hammer, and then he stops and he says shit, and he starts crying, and he says, you see, I'm not a lizard, I'm not from under a rock, I came out of my mother, he's saying this is hard for me. And it hit me like, if you even have a modicum of remorse, that must be
Yeah.
torture.
Yeah.
And I said, I got to play him like this. This is
Yeah.
wild. And then I found this other interview. It's years later, and he's older, and he's slipping. And he's telling the story he's told 1,000 times about killing his mother. And he's getting to that very same moment with I Lift the Hammer. And the interviewer starts asking him a question while he's partway through telling it. And Kemper said, wait, you're wiping out the moment. Like, you're going to want to hear this. And it was, okay, it's all a performance. It's all,
Mm.
it was, it was important to see that I need to dupe everybody into actually being like, I could get a beer with this guy.
Yeah.
And he really is he's just got this one thing. I'm not his mom.
Yeah.
And and then the end of the show, Holden and the audience all realize he's just been lolling. I always thought of like a boa constrictor, like, they can hypnotize their prey and stuff. And whether or not they're always in a state of they look chill at any moment. They might be lulling you into a thing. Next thing you know, you're being strangled. So that was that was cool. I mean, you rarely get characters that you can just talk and talk and talk about. That have that much going on.
Yeah.
But but yeah, that amount of prep
Yeah.
can only hope to have characters like that you can just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool to watch the original audition I had because it's nothing like what it ended up being.
It's good.
It's neat.
good that you, yeah.
Yeah.
That you kept seeing the humanity
Yeah.
in, you know, in it, and it fills it up.
Yeah. And
And yeah.
I eventually had to stop doing it because I was no longer being paid to do it, but I still wanted to do it. And I'd be like, let's just drive around, put them back on. No, no, it's time to stop. But I heard once talk about inside the actor studio, Ray Fiennes did Schindler's List, and he said, you know, it's been 20 years. If you ask me to do that part again, you give me 2 days, I'll be right back there, and I know exactly what he's talking about. If
The
you get
prep is so
me,
strong
yeah,
inside.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know where he is.
Yeah.
So I just 2 days, I'd be back and ready.
That's good work. It's good prep.
It's
Yeah.
wild, yeah, it's weird. Some of them just they speak for themselves, like they really go. Those characters get their own life to it.
Yeah.
I guess that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing, Cameron. This has been so exciting and so fun to oh,
it's been good.
love these 2 years and being on this journey with you. And you're an amazing human being in so many ways. You're just a good man. You know, you're kind and you care about other people, and um, you have depth and insight, and it's just been an incredible experience getting to be with you, and I'm excited about things to come. And hopefully, you guys learned a lot in this, and it was inspiring to you. And we are going to do a second part of this interview for the secret project that will be revealed in time. And we will be filling you in on more of that. So, anyway, thank you so much, Cameron.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. It's so great to get to finally do it.
Yeah.
Thanks.